shoot. Oh. No. That's too loud. No. Let me try that. Oh, shoot. I'm going to go back here for a second. Somebody's going to ask what the hell is going on. Sorry about that. Anyway, hello YouTube, Scab the Wolf here, back with another video for your viewing pleasure. And yes, I am here to talk about the new Lamb of God album, as well as the new Counterparts and the new Bush album. And yeah, let's get the two albums out of the way first. Bush, The Artist Survival. Pretty solid album, I think. Not as good as The Kingdom, but still pretty good. I like the song More Than Machines. That's a pretty good song. Human Sand, Gunfight. It's fine. Nothing spectacular. But it's good. So I'd give it a 7 out of 10. And the new Counterparts album, a eulogy for those still here. This is probably the best album that's been released this week. It's a good metalcore album. Like, I think I like Nothing Left to Love more than this album. But time will tell. I kind of new to Counterparts, so I don't know. Like, I really did like what I heard from this new Counterparts album. Unwavering Vow was the lead single, I think, and that's a great song. Eulogy for Those Still Here is good. The title track, Sworn to Silence, Flesh to Fill Your Wounds, that's a good song. Whispers of Your Death, the title track, pretty good. Yeah, there's nothing much I have to complain about here, so that gets an 8 out of 10. And now I need to get up and move my fan, because I'm really going to need it for this little segment here. I don't have any singles to talk about. Maybe I'll try to find some. But, yeah, the new Lamb of God album. I really wanted to go into this album and like it. I really, really wanted to like this album. Or at least find something okay about, like, something that came out of this album. Because, I haven't been really the biggest fan of Lamb of God as late. Their heyday has long since passed. They try to get it back every now and then, but, it's still the same stuff. I was really hoping that this wouldn't be a bad album. I was really going into this album thinking, okay, how bad can it get? But let me tell you, this album is bad. It's 20 years. Lamb of God has not once tried to change their sound up in any way that's interesting or unique or dynamic. Like, they haven't tried once in that regard. I honestly just, like, after like 5-6 tracks, I just like skim the rest. That's basically all I need. It's basically the same stuff, in the lyrics. If you've heard the past 20 times, like, oh, the world sucks, or whatever. Like, the same kind of shit that we've heard from Lamb of God in their lyrics. like like painting the world as like this like desolate, like just totally negative, like it's just shit. And Randy Blythe, I'm sorry, Randy Blythe is a terrible, terrible vocalist. I am so sorry to say that, but he is. I really want to respect the guy. Like he's done good stuff. You know, I go on Loudwire, see he's done some interesting things. He seems like a nice guy. He is a terrible vocalist on this album. He is like every 2 minutes after like a freaking like he's going up to the mic and just doing that the orangutan vocal, like the like the terrible, like, and even I did a better job than what he did. Like I'm just like he went up to the mic and just did. He sounds like a freaking orangutan, and I can't stand it. Like he just has no good range to his voice. It's just so bad. I just hate it. I just hate it so much. You know, and like Mark Morton, like he's talented. He can't do anything other than the same shit he's done the past, I don't know, 20 years. He keeps on making guitar riffs that sound exactly like Lay to Rest or Redneck or whatever. Like even some songs on the previous Lamb of God albums, like it's the same, Like I've not seen a band in the new wave of metalcore, whatever it's called, like that has Kill Switch Engage and all that, and all those bands, the new wave of American heavy metal or whatever, like stick this, like they just like stick so much to a formula and they don't change whatsoever. It's so boring to listen to. A lot of people are probably not going to like this. They're not going to like me talking about Lamb of God. Like, how could you talk about Lamb of God in such a negative way? But if you listen to this album, you are paying and you are listening. You are biding your time to listen to the exact same album that you've had listened to the past, I don't know how many times, like since 2004, with like Ashes of the Wake, and like albums like As the Palace Burner, New American Gospel, and aforementioned Ashes of the Wake. I can't excuse those a little bit. That was kind of before, even maybe Sacrament a little bit, like because that was their big album, like with Redneck that got big. Like everybody knows Lay to Rest and all that stuff. Like I can probably excuse those albums, but everything after that, maybe Sturm und Drang, that album from 2015, the song with Deftones, Chino Moreno, and that song's probably only held up because of Chino Moreno. It's nothing to do with the rest of the band or anything like that, because they just they don't try to do anything different. Like Lamb of God, the self-title from 2020 was the proof of that when I heard it. But at least that album had some motivation in the lyrics. Like this is just like another Lamb of God album. They're just cruising. They're just pumping out the same, and it just makes me so mad. Because like you've had 20 years plus to develop your sound into something. Like bands like Trivium, Gojira, like they like expand upon their sound. They've done that. They've done way more than what Lamb of God has done. And like if you want better music, go listen to those two bands, because Gojira like does interesting things. They don't make the same album over and over and over again. Trivium, same deal. Even though I feel like In the Court of the Dragon is kind of similar, and What the Dead Men Say is kind of similar to listen to the sentence. I feel like they even make more of an attempt to like do something different on those two albums than Lamb of God has done since 2004. It's like they kind of there's moments on this album that kind of sound like borderline Mudvayne, you know, like with the high pitched screaming vocals that are tacked on very suddenly, poorly, just to the end of like certain lines and songs. It's just so bad. It's bad. This is probably the worst album right here. Omens is probably their worst album, in my honest opinion. Like, if I hate saying, if you're a fan of Lamb of God, then you probably like this. Of course, you know, of course. You mean if it's a band you like, of course you're probably gonna like it. But are you gonna say this is as good as anything in their past? No, you're not. Unless you're like, I wouldn't say stupid, but like, unless Omens happen to be your gateway into Lamb of God, and that's it. It's just Randy Blythe just needs to just be like, I don't know. Mark Morton needs to just do something. Just try something new. You know, it's just. I mean, even bands like All That Remains have tried some things, and they probably didn't pan out as well. Like, even like All That Remains tried some things. Like Lamb of God just hasn't. It's just like even you can hear glimpses of it, somewhat, but it's just so ineffective to me. Like I'd rather listen to a lot of different things. And like I'm gonna say this. I'd rather listen to Architects, like North Lane, and like generic metalcore, most of generic metalcore anyway, than to listen to Lamb of God. This album. Like there's been a lot of generic like I'd rather listen to the new Motionless and White than to listen to the new Lamb of God album. It's just how I feel. I know a lot of people don't like Motionless and White. There's some people who have said it was terrible. I thought it was mediocre. It's not as bad as the Lamb of God album. To It's just, you know, granted, there are albums that are worse. I prevail. But, oh my gosh, like Rock Gone, or Metal Gone Wrong, Lamb of God, Omens. It's, they probably just recorded every single song that they've done. Like it just have already put it out there. Just yeah. But I will say that the production isn't necessarily that bad. I think it's Josh Wilbur doing the production again, like their longtime producer. He does a good job, I think. Like Josh Wilbur is a pretty solid producer. Like yeah, Josh Wilbur produced this album. Like he does a good job with the mix and everything like that. Like it sounds good enough. Like it's so like it just irks me so bad because I know that there's good people in this band. I know that they are good. Like they've done good. They haven't gotten into any trouble. And I kind of feel bad for Randy Blythe after like the thing that happened to him in 2012 when he was put in prison and stuff. Like that was pretty terrible, to be honest. But like I wish they would just make better music than this. And it's not. None of it. Like none of the songs on this album I feel like are worth listening to. Like this is a 3 out of 10 at best. I hate. I hate to say. Like if I've like caused any kind of like controversy for this, I don't really care because Lamb of God is one of the most overrated bands I've ever seen. Like they are so overrated, and because they just don't do good. So, with that being said, um, let me take a look at the release radar to talk about some singles. Um, Real quick, or at least try. I think I might have heard one, but I don't remember what it was. To be honest with you, like I'm still like my head is starting to hurt because of the Lamb of God album. Uh, it's all just a bunch of stuff. I didn't know that Circles, the prog metal band, had a new song out. Um, I'm assuming that's from a new album or something. Uh, to, I think Earth Caller was the band I listened to. It was some generic metalcore, whatever. Um, yeah, it's all just like holdovers from last week, um, and some new stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, hold on. Yeah, yeah, the alarm is on. Probably because my radar is up. Because I can sense a shitty album when I hear it. Sorry about that. That was just my mom telling me something. Yeah. So anyway, what do you think about the review and all the reviews and all this stuff? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. This is Captain Wolf signing out, and take care.